Mermorph.
What's up?
Weren't you supposed to make a video a long time ago?
I was supposed to make one like, well, how long ago was it? A year ago? 2, 3? I lost count at this point. But now I'm making a video. Yeah.
Well, what the hell are you gonna do it on now?
It is the year 2018. Why not I make a video about 2018 memes? What else am I gonna do for this beginning sketch? Hey guys, it's me, Mermorph. I bet you guys didn't expect a video from me at all after, what, 2 years? Yeah, I didn't expect a video from me either, but hey, we're at this point, and yeah, let's talk about video games and movies. More often than not, we see different mediums intertwine with one another to create some sort of adaptation of an original work. You like that book? Let's make it a television series. You like that television series? Let's make it into a video game. You like that video game? Let's make it into a movie. But do you really want that? Once in a while, we get something good out of video games. I mean, look at this Netflix adaptation of Castlevania. Look at all these Sonic the Hedgehog animated shows. How could you forget about Pokemon? This makes me actually like League of Legends for once. Overwatch animated shorts look like actual Disney movies.
I'm already chasing.
Notice that every one I mentioned were either television shows or cinematic shorts. Not one is a feature film, yet there are plenty of them out there. If I were to look at a list of the best movies based on a video game, not one of them will have a score above 50%, with a few exceptions. In other words, video game movies generally gain a bad rep based on the reception they receive from both critics and audiences alike. Sure, there are films out there based on video game culture that are well received. Only some of them, of course. But they are not necessarily specific adaptations of a video game franchise. If movies based around the culture are able to get a good rep, then how come movies based on the games themselves struggle to hit the mark? Here, I'll be analyzing various video game to movie adaptations ranging from the worst of the worst to the okayest of the okayest to decipher the mystery of why these movies get the reception they receive.
Hey, plumber boy, mustache man, your worst nightmare has arrived.
Pack up your stuff. I got a little surprise for you here. Check it out. What do you think about that?
Movies based on video games date all the way back to the early 90s, as the idea of making a full feature-length film out of a game was first conceived in 1993, when the Mickey Mouse of the video game industry, Mario, got his debut on the silver screen with the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Since this was the first out of many to do an adaptation of a game, the Super Mario Bros. Movie was bound to struggle with staying faithful to the source material. This was very prevalent throughout the entirety of the movie, whether it's the designs for certain characters, the overall tone of the setting, or the approach taken with the plot. Even though the Mario Bros. Movie is the first to do it, it was definitely not the last, as one of the biggest gripes people have with these kind of adaptations is when a movie doesn't stay true to the original source material. While it's true that taking a different approach when making an adaptation of any sort can keep things fresh and original, it does cause various issues that lead to undesirable results. Fans of the original source material would consider a movie's approach to be a downgrade most of the time, and more often than not, they're right. I'm a huge fan of the Silent Hill franchise, one of the greatest horror game franchises of all time, and easily one of my all-time favorite video games. One of my favorite things about Silent Hill are the symbolic aspects that every monster possesses in their respective title, fleshing out the psychological horror element that the games are known for. That being said, why is Pyramid Head in the movies? If you don't know who Pyramid Head is, is basically the face of the franchise, cementing its legacy for the role it played in Silent Hill 2, being the symbolic manifestation of the protagonist's guilt and ultimate judgment. Various monsters have made appearances in many other Silent Hill titles, including the movies. But why did they have to resort to changing the lore of the franchise's most beloved creature? Sure, the movie's canon are clearly meant to be separate from the original games, while also staying true to the originals to an extent. Yet these are factors that have likely upset the core audience of the movie, being the longtime fans of the series. As a longtime fan of the series myself, I am triggered. At least the first movie was kind of decent, being one of the better video game to movie adaptations out there. What about you, Silent Hill Revelation? This is why Konami is dead. I need a moment. Being a faithful adaptation is a huge factor when it comes to these kind of films, yet that mostly applies when considering the fans' opinion of the movie. More often than not, the critical reception of video game-based movies are lower than the audience's. There's more to what makes a video game movie adaptation bad than just being a bad adaptation of the original source material. So why is it that every one of these movies missed the mark when appealing to the critical point of view? Their judgment doesn't solely rely on a previous understanding, let alone an appreciation of the game they come from, meaning that there are separate factors that come into play when rating these kind of films. What could possibly be the downfall of these movies from a critical perspective, you might ask? Believe it or not, I have the definitive answer to this very question. The truth is, they're just bad. Remember how I said that no video game movie adaptation got a rating of 50% or higher? Let's see the reasons for that, shall we? Brainless blockbuster, uninspired story, dull, lack of substance, comments about the plot. What else is there? Oh, here's a good one. Straight out of the Rotten Tomatoes critical consensus for the first Resident Evil movie. Like other video game adaptations, Resident Evil is loud, violent, formulaic, and cheesy. There you have it, folks, an elaborate explanation to my previously stated summary. Weak plot, absurd dialogue, dull action, bad movie.
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
While it's true that these adaptations miss the mark with many of the basic fundamentals of storytelling and filmmaking, there's a little misunderstanding when judging some of these movies, as the label of being a bad video game movie views these films from a narrow perspective. None of these adaptations prosper with the critics, yet there are some out there that are appreciated one way or another by the general audience. Fans of a series and the general moviegoers seem to like some of these movies regardless of their terribly low score. One of the best examples of this is the 2016 film adaptation of the popular MMORPG franchise, Warcraft. The biggest issue surrounding this movie is the confusing, overblown plot of it all, as it is based around the huge lore of the Warcraft series. There are many fans of the game that loved this movie, as their understanding of the game's lore boosts their appreciation of the film. Even those unfamiliar with the franchise had a good viewing experience. This is clearly meant to be a niche movie that mostly appealed to the fans of Warcraft, yet it seemed to prosper to some of the viewers who haven't even played the games. So why is it that critics are slamming this movie down to the ground? I mean, look at the ratio between the critic and audience scores for Warcraft on Rotten Tomatoes. That's a whole 50% margin between the two. This isn't exclusively for Warcraft, as there is a similar gap for films such as Silent Hill, every Final Fantasy movie, except for Spirits Within. We could agree that's mediocre at best. And even the recent Rampage adaptation. Not saying that these movies are necessarily good, there's definitely a lot of them that are just... no. Yet these adaptations seem to possess some sort of stigma, as if they never can be quite good. I can imagine translating video games to the big screen is a difficult task, since there are many factors left out of a movie that made the source material special in the first place. There's still that optimistic side of me that believes video game adaptations will prosper sometime in the future. There's so much potential to make a great movie out of one, But we haven't reached that point yet. The upcoming Pokemon Detective Pikachu looks really promising, so there is at least some hope for the future of these adaptations. Please be good, please be good, please be good. One day, video game adaptations will get better reception. It's all a matter of being more progressive when crafting them. That being said, gamers, rise up.